There is something about the southern coast of Sri Lanka that quietly dismantles every expectation you arrive with. The air is thick with salt and coconut, the roads narrow into jungle paths, and then suddenly the ocean opens up in front of you like a reward you did not know you had earned. Mirissa is that kind of place. It does not announce itself loudly. It simply exists in its own unhurried rhythm, and if you are willing to slow down enough to match it, you will find one of the most genuinely beautiful stretches of coastline in all of South Asia. The beach itself curves in a gentle crescent, framed by swaying palms and small rocky outcrops that jut into the turquoise water. The waves here are not aggressive, but they are alive, rolling in with just enough energy to make you feel the ocean's presence without overwhelming you. Mirissa sits roughly 150 kilometers south of Colombo, and the drive alone is worth the journey. You pass through small towns, roadside fruit stalls piled high with pineapple and papaya, and stretches of coastline where fishing boats painted in bright blues and reds bob gently in the shallows. By the time you arrive in Mirissa, the pace of the outside world has already begun to dissolve. The beach draws a fascinating mix of travelers. You will find backpackers stretched out under palm trees, couples watching the sun dip below the horizon, and solo travelers sitting with a book and a fresh coconut, completely unbothered by the passage of time. There is a laid-back energy here that feels earned rather than manufactured. Nobody is performing relaxation, everyone is simply living it. The water temperature hovers around a deeply comfortable level year-round, making it ideal for swimming, and the visibility beneath the surface is often clear enough to spot small reef fish darting between rocks near the shoreline. Mornings in Mirissa carry a particular kind of magic. The beach is quieter, the light is golden and low, and the fishermen are already out, their silhouettes moving against the early sky. If you wake up early enough, you can walk the entire length of the beach with almost no one else around, the sand cool and damp beneath your feet, the sound of the waves your only company. Mirissa is not just a beach destination, it is one of the best places in the world to witness blue whales in their natural habitat, and that single fact elevates it from a beautiful coastal town into something genuinely extraordinary. The waters off the southern tip of Sri Lanka sit along a major migratory route for blue whales, the largest animals ever known to have existed on Earth. Between November and April, these magnificent creatures pass close enough to shore that boat tours departing from Mirissa Harbour offer a realistic chance of seeing them. The experience of being out on the open ocean, watching a blue whale surface and exhale in a towering spout of mist before sliding silently back beneath the water, is one of those moments that recalibrates your sense of scale and wonder. Spinner dolphins are also frequent companions on these tours, leaping and spinning alongside the boat in what appears to be pure, unfiltered joy. The harbour itself is a lively and colourful place in the early morning hours when the whale-watching boats prepare to depart. Guides brief passengers on what to expect, engines rumble to life, and there is a collective sense of anticipation that is hard to replicate anywhere else. Even if the ocean does not deliver a whale sighting on a particular day, the experience of being far out at sea with the Sri Lankan coastline fading behind you is remarkable in its own right. Mirissa also offers excellent surfing conditions during certain months, particularly from October through April, when the swells are consistent and manageable for intermediate surfers. Several small surf schools operate along the beach, and the instructors are patient and genuinely enthusiastic about sharing their knowledge of the local breaks. Whether you are paddling out for the first time or looking to refine your technique, the waves here offer a forgiving and enjoyable environment, Food in Sri Lanka is an experience unto itself, and nowhere along the southern coast captures this truth more beautifully than Kai Beach, a restaurant that has become something of a landmark for travelers who take their meals seriously. Situated right on the beachfront, Kai Beach manages to combine an effortlessly stylish atmosphere with food that is genuinely thoughtful and deeply satisfying. The brunch menu here is the kind of thing you find yourself thinking about long after you have left. It draws on Sri Lankan ingredients and flavors while incorporating international techniques and presentations that feel fresh without being pretentious. The coconut-based dishes are particularly memorable, reflecting the abundance of this ingredient across the island's culinary traditions. Fresh seafood features prominently, sourced locally and prepared with a care that you can taste in every bite. The grilled fish options are exceptional, seasoned with spices that build slowly and warmly rather than overwhelming the palate. Alongside these are beautifully constructed egg dishes, tropical fruit plates arranged with genuine artistry, and freshly pressed juices that taste like the island itself in liquid form. The smoothie bowls are vibrant and generous, topped with local fruits, seeds, and a drizzle of honey that ties everything together. Sitting at Kai Beach with a plate of food in front of you and the Indian Ocean stretching out beyond the palm trees is one of those simple, perfect moments that travel occasionally delivers without warning. The service here matches the quality of the food. The staff are warm and attentive without hovering, and there is a genuine pride in what they are presenting to guests. The space itself is designed with a light touch, using natural materials and open-air seating that allows the breeze off the water to move freely through the restaurant. It feels like eating inside a postcard, except the food is far better than any postcard could suggest. After the unhurried pace of Mirissa and the sensory richness of the southern coast, arriving in Colombo feels like stepping into a different chapter of the same story. The capital city of Sri Lanka is a place of genuine contrasts, where colonial architecture stands beside gleaming modern towers, where street food vendors operate steps away from rooftop restaurants with panoramic views of the ocean, and where the energy is unmistakably urban without ever feeling cold or unwelcoming. Colombo has been quietly transforming itself over the past decade, and the luxury hospitality sector reflects this evolution with remarkable clarity. The city's high-end hotels are among the finest in South Asia, offering levels of service and design that rival properties in Singapore or Dubai. Staying in one of Colombo's luxury properties is an experience that engages all the senses from the moment you arrive. The lobbies are often architectural statements in themselves, combining Sri Lankan craftsmanship with contemporary design sensibilities. Hand-woven textiles, locally sourced timber, and traditional motifs appear throughout the interiors, grounding the luxury experience in a distinctly Sri Lankan identity rather than offering a generic international template. The rooms and suites in these properties are spacious and meticulously appointed, with views that often extend across the city skyline or out toward the Indian Ocean. Waking up to the sight of the ocean from a high floor in Colombo is a genuinely disorienting pleasure, the kind that makes you reach for your phone to photograph something you know the camera will not fully capture. The dining options within Colombo's luxury hotels are exceptional, featuring restaurants that draw on the island's extraordinary culinary heritage while incorporating global influences with a confident and assured hand. Sri Lankan cuisine is one of the most complex and rewarding in the world, built on layers of spice, coconut, and technique that have evolved over centuries of trade and cultural exchange. Tasting it at its finest in a beautifully designed restaurant with attentive service and a thoughtfully curated wine list is an experience that reframes everything you thought you knew about the food. Beyond the hotels, Colombo rewards exploration on foot and by tuk-tuk. The galley-faced green promenade stretches along the seafront and fills with families and street food vendors in the evenings, creating a communal atmosphere that feels deeply authentic. The Peta Market district is a sensory overload in the best possible sense, with narrow lanes packed with vendors selling everything from spices to electronics to fresh produce. The National Museum offers a beautifully curated journey through Sri Lanka's history, from ancient kingdoms through colonial periods to independence. Colombo is a city that earns your affection gradually, revealing itself in layers the longer you stay. It is the perfect final chapter for a journey that began in the slow golden light of Mirissa, moved through the flavors of Kai Beach, and now arrives in a city that is confidently writing its own future while honoring the depth of its past.